Hi, my name is Cindy Spence, and today I'm going to be giving you some ideas on how to help kids through art. Now, why do kids need to express themselves through art? Well, art can increase your serotonin levels, improving your overall mood and mental health. It can help children with special needs like autism and those who have undergone a traumatic experience or an emotional disturbance. Art expression lessens anxiety and stress to help a child overcome negative experiences. Here are just a few ways that a parent or guardian can help a child express themselves through art. For the color wheel, you'll need a pen, a paintbrush, some water, paper towels, and some paints. And then also a circle that's divided into 8 different sections. I printed mine. Then you're going to write an emotion on each section. So I chose joy, fear, trust, surprise, sadness, anticipation, anger, and disgust. And you can see me writing it now. Once you have that, you're going to pick some colors that correspond with each emotion. For joy, I chose yellow. For fear, I chose turquoise. Next, for trust, I chose a light magenta. Next, for surprise, I chose a warm gray. Now this might seem like a weird color choice for surprise, but it corresponds to what I'm going to be drawing within the spot later. Now on to sadness, I obviously chose blue. For anticipation, I chose an orange. Like sadness, anger was an easy one to choose a color, and I obviously went with red. And lastly, for disgust, I chose a green. Now that you have each slot colored in, you're going to take your pen and you're going to draw a different picture in each slot for each emotion with what you correspond with that emotion. For joy, I chose celebration, so being around family, having a party, and maybe lighting some sparklers. For fear, I chose to draw a sea creature hiding behind a human-like mask with a bunch of question marks around it. This is to symbolize my fear of the unknown. Now onto trust, I drew me and my best friend. This symbolizes our friendship and the trust that we have between each other. Now on to surprise, I chose to draw my cat Tatum. I chose this for surprise because after years of my parents saying that we weren't going to get a cat, they finally let in and let me get her. Continuing on to sadness, I also drew a pet. This is Sadie. She was my German Shepherd that passed away a few years ago. In this picture, I chose to draw one of my favorite moments that we continued to do, up until her last moments. I would always sleep with my head on her chest, while she slept as well. Jumping right on into anticipation, I decided to draw my grades and tests coming back, and my ACT and SAT and waiting for college letters. Now into anger. I had a very hard time coming up with something because I don't typically get angry. I get annoyed, but I don't get to the level of being mad. So I was paused for a long time thinking, but I finally came up with something, and it's when I spend a lot of time, like days even, on an art piece and it doesn't turn out exactly how I want it to. Or when someone looks at it and just gives a one-word reply, even though I've spent all this time on it. Lastly, on to disgust. Once again, I had a hard time coming up with something because I don't really get disgusted over things. But I did finally come up with something, and it was pizza and red sauce and tomatoes. So I recently got this really bad intolerance to red sauce, and I can't eat any of my favorite foods because it makes me very sick. So I decided to draw this for disgust because now I'm starting to have a hatred towards red sauce. The next activity is called Draw Your Heart, and it's exactly how it sounds. For this activity, you'll need a piece of paper and a pen. At the top of the paper, I just wrote family because that's what I'm going to base my heart around. And then you're going to write in a heart formation, going around and around and around, writing words or phrases or experiences that correlate to what you wrote at the top of the paper. So the first ring, I just wrote my family's names. The second ring, I wrote who they are to me. The third, and continuing on into the middle, I wrote experiences that I've had with all of them. In the very middle of the heart, I just wrote my heart because that's what it is. That's what my heart consists of. Next, I decided that I wanted some color in there, so I just grabbed back out my watercolors and filled in the heart with a red tone, and then I did a splatter pattern to make it seem a lot more interesting. I hope these activities help you and the children who need it. Remember, there's always someone out there who will listen and who cares about you. Whether that's at school, with friends, or even just at home. Just know that you're never alone in whatever you're going through. There's always a parent or guardian who will be happy to listen to you.